they think it's like, I can't lose weight and I don't know why. And I do all this. I work out in boot camp and Whole30, and I can't lose weight. So they think like that's the problem. And usually when you go through everything, you're like, you eat well, you sleep well, you exercise good. So it's not that. And usually they're surprised when we kind of, what I say, I unpack the brain and I unpack all of our thoughts and I unpack all of the problems, and we find out that it was something that was buried down there way at the bottom they totally forgot about. And it's like, have you ever like traveled and like a year later, 2 years later, you use a suitcase you haven't used in forever and you find like this, like, oh, that's where that, necklace went,
right.
or something. You're like, oh, yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So there's three different types of energy that you discuss in your program. You talk about subtle body energy, you talk about physical energy, and then you talk about the yin and yang.
Yes.
One of the things that you're able to identify when you're either working with your clients remotely, so if you have a client in France or Japan, you work remotely with them through screens, or when you're working physically with someone, you kind of start to really pick up on some of these energies and work with them. Give me an example just from our personal work together of how that looked and how you were able to help a person, help me specifically even, move through some of the blocks that I had, because that will really give our audience an example of how they may be able to use this type of work to relieve a lot of pain and grief they're feeling.
So, I was going to ask, that's great if I could use you as an example.
I have no secrets.
Okay.
Especially with the Mom's Work Cape talking.
So get ready. We did sort of like a session together. And when I'm working with someone, there are those three categories. I look at the subtle body energy, which is kind of the energy that, it's like the frequency that they're giving off. And some therapists see colors, some feel it, some almost telekinetically connect with it. I feel like I kind of do all. It just depends on the person. And then there is physical energy, which is centers in our body. And you all have probably seen in yoga studios or people with the tattoos that have like the colors tattooed, and it's just like little dots, like a rainbow up and down your body. And that's what they call the chakras. And those are our physical energy centers where, very important, that they hold and provide very specific energy. So for instance, what I was picking up with you was a lot of the throat energy, that it was very new. And so, here in the throat energy is the fifth chakra. When I was picking up again on you, and I'm sorry. So if we were together, I was picking up on this. This was very active, and the throat center is related health-wise to your thyroid and your self-expression, but also your ability to hear and absorb and then communicate back. And you're doing a whole lot of that lately. And so when I felt that that's new, is that it was suppressed prior to you starting Moms Wear Capes. And I think we kind of giggled a little bit because some things that I was seeing and things that were coming up, like your grandmother, you were like, because you hadn't told me about it. And it's not because I'm a clairvoyant, it's just these are I feel that around you. It's not, like I didn't see your grandma standing there, holding up a sign with like messages. It was like I felt that energy.